Interface Video presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fairhope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities, and the Frankie Smith Funeral Home.
Hi, and welcome to Fairfield Today. I'm your host, Custer-Montanez, with the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disability, where we strive each and every day to bring about a vibrant community where people lead fulfilling lives and make meaningful contributions. And one of the ways that we do that, it's really an interesting and creative way, is to invest in our employees, invest in the employees and the staff at Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities. Now, we have currently about 160 staff members that are serving well over 1,200 adults and children and their families throughout Fairfield County with developmental disabilities. And so what we're realizing is that as we continue to develop our employees so that they can be the best that they can be for the people that they're supporting, we need to continue to be the best we can be for our employees. And so we have developed the Emerging Leaders Program. And you're going to get a unique look today at the graduation ceremony for emerging leaders. And we're also going to talk to the facilitator of the group, Dr. Uhl, and also a couple people that have benefited greatly this past year from the Emerging Leaders Program. And welcome back to Fairfield Today. I am your host, Custer-Montanez, with the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities. And we're getting a really unique look today at a very unique program that's taking place at Fairfield DD, and it's the Emerging Leaders Program. So hopefully by now you've gotten a little bit of a sense of what that program is all about, but we want to talk a little bit more about the purpose behind it, the objective behind it. And with me is our superintendent, Mr. John P. Carr. Hi, John.
How you doing, Temple?
I'm very good. Thank you for asking. Anyway, I wanted to ask you, as we talk about the Emerging Leaders Program, I mean, there are a lot of companies and agencies out there that do employee development. What makes this program, in your opinion, unique?
Well, it is part of employee development, but it's more than that. It encourages people to take a look within themselves in terms of leadership, what they can do to be a leader, and what we try to impress upon people more than anything else is that leadership is not positional. It doesn't matter what position you hold in an organization, in a business. It matters what you do with that position and how you lead from where you are. And I think that's what is pretty neat about what we do here. And I think that's what draws people who work for us to wanting to be part of this.
Yeah, I agree. And I have to say, too, that one thing that's been interesting to me is that, we have roughly 160 employees, and we all work in so many different capacities and do so many different types of ways that we support people with developmental disabilities. For me personally, getting the opportunity to get to know some of those individuals on a more, frankly, intimate level has been very eye-opening. Have you found that to be the same?
Yeah, it's always challenging when you have a lot of people working in an organization that you're heading up to really know everybody, and so it's really fun for me because I get to teach two of the classes every session that we have with this group, and it's really fun to get to know the people in that classroom and interact with them in that way, and in ways that I'm typically not usually able to because we're all going about our daily business. And on those days where emerging leaders classes are held, that's kind of at least a half a day where we can sit back and talk about future, talk about what it takes to lead. What does it really mean to lead? What does it mean if I'm not in a leadership position that's typically considered that? How do I do that? And it's fun to see people's eyes open, and it's fun to see them think, yeah, I can do that.
Absolutely. Now, I know you've said it many times, and we all say it because you say it. We usually do what you say. But in all honesty, that we are only as successful as the community in which we live and the community in which we are supported. And what's been really interesting to me also about the Emerging Leaders Program is that we've been able to pull in from our community partners and really take an in-depth look at different managerial styles, different cultural styles. What does that mean to you?
Well, it means I'm very proud of the fact that business people, very busy people in this community, very well-respected people in this community, choose to take time out of their busy schedule to share with us and to share their leadership styles and share their leadership philosophies with our group. The fact is, we spent a lot of time in the last 20 years building those community relationships because that's what's ultimately going to make us successful. We can't do this as an organization alone. That it takes a community, and it takes a community that cares. And it helped inform our decision that we weren't only responsible for helping and assisting people with developmental disabilities. Our responsibility was to help the community be as vibrant as it could be, which then increases opportunities for those of us in this community who may have a developmental disability.
And I think that's brilliant, and we brag a lot about the fact that our mission statement is to bring about a vibrant community where people lead fulfilling lives and make meaningful contributions. It's really nice when we see members of the community who maybe aren't vested personally or aren't being supported make that same commitment alongside of us.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the people who present during the Emerging Leaders classes are both close partners that we have a relationship with, that we do business with one way or another, and some that we have no other relationship with except for this particular day. But they're both equally important to us, and they're both cherished as far as a partner for us.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, John, for speaking with me. When we come back, we are going to speak with a couple of the graduates and see what they have learned from the Emerging Leaders program. We'll be right back.
The Frank E. Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster or 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Hi, and welcome back to Fairfield Today. I'm your host, Custer-Montanez, with the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities, and I am surrounded by greatness today. And beauty, let's say. I mean, let's be real. You're a good-looking group here. The ladies that are joining me are recent graduates of the Emerging Leaders program at Fairfield DD, which we've been talking about today. And I really wanted to hear from you all, maybe not necessarily why you signed up for it, but what you expected and how that was accurate or not accurate as far as what you got out of the program. So we'll start with Tana Kerr down here. Hi, Tana.
Hi. I expected it to be, more about leadership, the word leadership. But really the course in the class was a lot about your personal accountability and how you control your life and lead your life, and just building and gaining those skills, and then also building relationships with other people within the agency and learning about what they do. So it was different than I expected it to be.
Excellent, thank you. And Kristen Thorne, you've been with the agent. How long have you been with Fairfield DD?
Since 1996.
Yeah, so you've really seen the evolution of a lot of things and ideas come to fruition and whatnot. And so it must be really interesting to you to come into this program having been with the agency that long. What was one of the most impactful things that you learned that you think that you will implement in your daily life?
There was many things that I will be able to use in my daily life, but I think, like Tana said, just kind of being able to control myself and that relationship that I will have with people and helping them move in the direction that we need to move in, whether that be in what my organization has identified. Also, again, taking that accountability for myself. And again, there's many great things that we've learned in this class. So I can't really say if there's any one particular thing. Going into it, I really thought it was going to be more of a supervisory. As a supervisor, these are the tools that we'll be able to use, and it's not at all. It wasn't like that at any part. So. Yeah.
Great, thank you. And Mike, and you're sort of on the other end of the spectrum because you're relatively new to Fairfield DD, and we're very thrilled to have you. How was it for you to learn a little bit about the relationships that Fairfield DD has with community partners, and in the fact that they were able to bring those different candidates from other entities in to speak?
That was one of my favorite parts, honestly, was to get to hear some of the people that are those leaders from all over the community. And then I started going places and seeing them. And I'm like, oh, he just came and talked to emerging leaders. It was interesting to see people who had had their successes and their difficulties and see kind of taking that leadership off the textbook and making it in real life.
Okay, great.
I
Awesome.
think their stories were very powerful because they were very personal, and you could identify with what they were saying. So that also was one of my favorite parts of the program.
Well, I think it puts a face with the name of an organization to see how other people are actually doing it in your own community.
When you walk into the hospital and you notice things now, like, oh, that's part of what they're doing. Oh, they're doing that on purpose. It's just interesting to see how it's all applied.
Now, David is great about finding, resources, books, and famous authors, and different strategies for leadership. It was a lot of reading for you, right?
It was.
Yes.
Or listening.
Or listening. So was that helpful, and do you think that that's something you might continue to maybe gravitate toward that section of the library or the bookstore to find some of those leadership, mentorship type books?
Yeah, I think so. It's not my favorite. It's not a beach read, but it definitely gives you something to think about. And I feel like, especially as a mom, I get so wrapped up in what I'm doing in mom world that it's nice to take a minute and think about what I'm doing for myself or learning other things outside of that.
Yeah, I agree. Tana,
I think where the program was a lot of reading, David was really good about assigning certain chapters to us, so it wasn't overwhelming. So we didn't get halfway through the book and be like, we just can't finish it because it's so much. So he really was able to pull out the information that he felt was the most important so that we could get through it all and be able to discuss it each month. So
that's good. That's a good point. So what does it mean to you girls to know that you work for an agency that would provide something like an Emerging Leaders program?
I think the value that they have in their employees, and they want us to be the best that we can possibly be. So giving us this opportunity to be able to pursue those, I think, is extremely important and very appreciative.
And the fact that it wasn't just about supervising. It was about how do you make change and make positive change from wherever you are. I mean, we constantly talked about leading from where you are. And, how just that CEO kind of leader isn't always the biggest or most driving factor. And so just really empowering to allow, us regular people to make those changes as well.
Excellent. Well, thank you, ladies. Congratulations on your success. And I look forward to seeing what you do next. I'm sure there will be wonderful things. We are going to talk to David Uhl, and David is the facilitator of the group and partial brainchild as well. So don't tell him I said that. We'll be right back.
My name is Ernest Elton Keaton, Ernie, 11th month, 15th day of 1947. I have a very interesting life. I worked for 51 years. It just come to me, what I wanted to do. Come a long way with all the pictures I've taken. I enjoy doing it to make people not sad, but happy. And I have. I'm trying to do the best I can, be kind to people and everything. So I try my very best to do what's right and not wrong. It'd be a boring world if everybody did be everything. Same thing, same lights, It'd be a boring world, I think.
Being a first-time parent is very nerve-wracking going into the hospital. You don't really know what to expect. The nurses, the staff, the doctors, everyone at Fairfield Medical Center was very attentive. They just put my mind at ease. They answered any questions we asked. They supported us through the whole delivery, the post-delivery, our stay in the hospital. We felt like we were part of their family. I wouldn't have put myself or my daughter in anybody else's hands. Experience Fairfield Medical Center.
And welcome back to Fairfield Today. I am your host, Temple Custer-Montanez, and with me is David Uhl. And as we've been talking and visiting with participants and graduates of the Emerging Leaders Program at Fairfield ED, we certainly don't want to miss an opportunity to talk to David. But all kidding aside, David is the facilitator of this group and has been for 3 years. He is one of the brainchilds behind the group and has really put an awful lot of effort and research into making sure that this program is diverse and unique and impactful and applicable. So, you know, you just wrapped up a third year, David. What do you think?
I think it's great. You know, I'm so very thankful that we work for an agency that understands the importance of developing leaders and helping them develop themselves as they move forward through their leadership journey. And, you know, it's almost like you're a proud dad, right? You see all these folks go through and you have the chance to see them at the beginning of the program and then see how much they've grown at the end of the 9 months. And we have an unbelievable team. And one of the things we really work to drive home is that every single person in the agency is a leader. Everyone. And that oftentimes blows people's mind in that very first session, because that's the crux of this whole thing, that you are a leader because you have influence. So it doesn't matter whether you supervise people, it doesn't matter what your position is, you're a leader because you have influence. And then we want to provide them with the skills, abilities, and habits that they need to be an effective leader within our organization and really anywhere in life, whether it's a nonprofit organization or just their own self-leadership and management. And so it really is phenomenal. And we're getting ready. Applications are already coming in for our fourth class. So.
Great. So when you thought of this in your mind and when you were creating the curriculum, if you will, what differed between what you'd imagined and what actually has unfolded over the last 3 years?
You know, that's a really great question. We were very strategic and deliberate about what we've done, and so really very little has changed from when we started to when we ended. I guess one of the things that was surprising to me was just how many people wanted to do this. Every year we have more applicants than we have spaces for. And it's always difficult to turn people away, but we encourage them, follow up with them for the next year so that they have the opportunity to participate if they want. But, you know, when we work to put this together over the 9 months, we've switched out a couple of resources here and there. We switch out some speakers here and there as people maybe move on from the community or switch jobs out in the community. But it really has become what we envisioned it to become, and I think that's a testament to just how much work we did on the front end to make sure that this is going to be something that adds value immediately from the first year forward. And that's what we've seen. And so from a, I guess, outcome standpoint, I couldn't be more pleased with how we've watched these employees grow and grow in their own current positions. Some of them have moved up into other positions or into leadership positions, and everything that we do in the Emerging Leaders Program only helps to inform that, helps them to do those things that they want to do. And so I've been pleased with the response, and I've been pleased with the outcomes. And, you know, we didn't know. We were just making it up as we went along.
We do a lot of that, throw out there and see what sticks.
That's right. We build our wings on the way down, and that's what we did with this. And then after the first year, we had it and made a few tweaks, and then this last year made a few tweaks, and we'll make just a few tweaks going into the next year. But it's been pretty consistent, and that's because what we've heard back from participants is there's a lot of value. So we do a survey at the end of every class. And they're completely anonymous, so people can be just as honest as they need to be. And, you know, typically there's a little thing here, a little thing there. We, like I said, 1 or 2 resources that we've played around with a little bit, but for the most part, it's what it is what we build it to be, and we're really, really pleased with the outcome.
Well, congratulations on another very successful program. You know, we value our partnerships at Fairfield ED. We value the relationships we have with businesses and individuals throughout the community. So if you would like to know more about the Emerging Leaders Program, either how to apply this concept to your own organization, or if you would like to speak with David, we're always more than, and by we, I mean David, always happy to share information. So give us a call at Fairfield ED. We can be reached at 740-652-7220, or you can actually find David's email information on our website at www.fairfieldd.com. So thank you, David, and thank you for watching. This has been an exciting time for us, and we're excited to see what your graduates do. Until next time, I'm Temple Custer-Montanez with the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.
Interface Video presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fairhope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities, and the Frankie Smith Funeral Home.